Cardinal Rai in the ceremony to install al-Yazigi as Patriarch of Antioch and the Orient. We came to express solidarity with the suffering the Syrian people and to carry the Bible of brotherhood and reconciliation. Russia asserts that Washington's denial of its involvement in arming the opposition in Syria would not absolve it from responsibility for events there. President Nijad, on the 34th anniversary of the victory of the revolution, no power on earth could impose its will on the Iranian people. Good afternoon, welcome to News Bulletin. I'm Dania Nizam. Patriarch Yohanna X al-Yazigi was officially installed as Roman Orthodox Patriarch of Antioch and the Orient today. Patriarch Yohanna X al-Yazigi asserted that our mission is to work hand in hand for the good of everybody. We shall pray to remain united. The road to Damascus is to guide everybody. The Marin Patriarch Cardinal Boutros Rai said that he came to show solidarity with the suffering of the Syrian people and to say
فيظهر له الرب يسوع ويذكره بكل أقواله وتعاليمه. Toute affliction, colère, famille, la nécessité. Prions le Seigneur.
في سوريا.
Boutros Rai said that he came to show solidarity with the suffering of the Syrian people and to say that all our churches in Syria and the world are carrying together the Bible of peace, reconciliation and man's dignity. He asserted that all the claims about reforms, democracy and human rights are not equal to one drop of innocent bloodshed in the streets.
تأتي في زمن صعب في سوريا العزيزة.
Patriarch Gregorios İ Laham of the Royal Romans of Antioch, Jerusalem and Alexandria asserted that work will continue to achieve unity between Muslims and Christians in Syria, to end the crisis and to keep Syria united. The ceremonies were held earlier today in the Church of the Holy Cross in Damascus with popular and official participation. Cardinal Boutros Rai, the Maronite Patriarch of Antioch and the Orient, asserted that reforms were necessary everywhere, but they should be carried out through dialogue, understanding and internal cooperation and could not be imposed from outside. In the Mass held to commemorate Marmaron in Damascus yesterday, Cardinal Boutros Rai expressed happiness to take part in this ritual in beloved Damascus. He stressed that Damascus remained in his heart and in his prayers. Cardinal Boutros Rai, the Maronite Patriarch of Antioch and the Orient, congratulated the participants in the Mass on this occasion and prayed to God to bring them every prosperity and blessing. He also prayed to God to inspire local and regional officials to put an immediate end to war and violence in our beloved Syria and to bring peace through understanding and dialogue about the differences. Cardinal Rai called for continuing prayers for peace in Syria and expressed consolations for the innocent victims and their relatives and for the return of the displaced people. He expressed solidarity with all the suffering victims, particularly those who belong to various churches, at his painful juncture of wounded Syria. Cardinal Boutros Rai, the Maronite Patriarch of Antioch and the Orient, refuted the claims about reforms, asserting that reforms could not be imposed by foreigners from outside but should spring from the inside because the people of the homeland know what is best for them. Reforms should come through dialogue, giving everybody their rights and committing them to their duties. The role of the international community should come within this context. Cardinal Rai arrived in Damascus yesterday to take part in the ceremonies of installing the Patriarch of the Roman Orthodox of Antioch and the Orient, Yohanna X al-Yazigi. Thousands of Syrian citizens took part in a march with wax candles organized by religious, popular and youth activities in Bab Tuma and Damascus to assert that Syria remains the land of love and brotherhood among all its citizens. The marchers prayed to God to light the way to peace and love in Syria. They expressed hope for the return of security and tolerance to keep Syria as it has always been, the land of love. Patriarch Gregorios III Laham said that the march was aimed to assert that people's hearts stress love and tolerance. He prayed for the safe recovery of all the wounded victims. He also expressed consolations for those who lost their beloved ones. The young people of Aleppo and Idlib, who continue to suffer from the acts of terrorism at the hands of the extremist mercenaries, join military service, asserting that they would defend their homeland and relatives from the crimes of those terrorists who tried to destroy the country.
Dozens of young men flock daily from Aleppo and its countryside to be recruited in the Syrian Arab Army to serve their country. The camera of Syrian TV visited some recruiting centers and met with those young men.
We are from the area of Salah ad-Din. The measures were very easy. The officials facilitated things a lot. I came to recruit my son to serve his country, to get rid of the terrorists. I came to be recruited as a soldier to serve my country. I came to serve my country even if I die for it, to get rid from these problems and to return to our families.
In the training center, the young soldiers receive different kinds of military training to be qualified for the battle.
The terrorists entered our area, destroyed the houses and displaced us. For this, I am here to defend my country.
Deputy Foreign Minister Faisal Muqdad asserted that any dialogue to solve the crisis in Syria should be carried out in Syria and should eventually be ruled by the decision of the Syrian people through referendum. In his interview with Al Mayadeen TV channel, he added that all parties were invited without any conditions to take part in the national dialogue. However, all participants should drop their arms and come with good intentions. He said there was no prior agenda concerning any topics that would be discussed in the preparatory stage. All matters would be defended by the participants, would also establish dialogue mechanisms to agree on a national charter containing all the approved topics. Mr. Muqdad asserted that President Bashar al-Assad remained the guardian of Syria's unity and territorial integrity. He would supervise everything. Muhowever, the national dialogue remained for the participants. Any topics presented by foreign countries like Britain and France would not be acceptable. Muqdad added that the meetings and talks here and there reflected the positive transformations in the Syrian arena. Foreign parties, including those who support terrorism, should be convinced of the political solution. Russia's permanent representative at the UN, Vitaly Churkin, asserted that America declared claim that it did not arm the opposition in Syria, and that would not absolve it from responsibility about what is happening there and the acts of this armed opposition. In an interview with Russia Today, TV channel Today, he asserted that the US had immense influence in Qatar, which is the main source of arming the opposition. Washington should use its influence on the states that arm the opposition. The American claims of non-involvement would not cancel their full responsibility for the acts of the armed opposition. Mr. Churkin added that the US might be fully aware that events were taking a series course, after the original scenario of bringing down the Syrian leadership within 2 months proved to be unrealistic and not feasible. On the 34th anniversary of the victory of the Islamic Revolution in Iran, millions of people marched in various parts of the country asserting the support of the Iranian people to the revolution and its aims. The various political parties, organizations and groups called for massive participation in these marches in order to renew support for the principles of the revolution and to send a warning message to the enemies of the Iranian people. President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad asserted last night that the Islamic Revolution cared for all humanity. It created a large humanitarian transformation and its message spread throughout the world. Russian ambassador to Turkey Vladimir Ivanovsky said that Russia hopes that the Patriot systems, which are set up along the Turkish borders, would not be used for any other purpose than to defend the Turkish territories. Ivanovsky said that there are different scenarios that are circulating in the media over the possibilities of using the Patriot systems, explaining that one reason behind those scenarios is that the observers have certain doubts over the complicated current situation. Ivanovsky added that Russia hopes those doubts would not come true and that Patriot systems should not be used for any other purpose than to defend the Turkish land. The Saudi forces arrested a number of women and children in both Riyadh and Breda cities after participating in a demonstration demanding the release of their relatives, which were imprisoned for years without trial. Protesters, which were gathered in front of the Human Rights Building in Riyadh, called for setting their relatives free, and they condemned the practices of the al-Assad, which keep suppressing the demonstrators in the eastern region. Whereas Al-Qatif area witnessed a massive demonstration calling for releasing Bakr Nimr, the imprisoned in al-Assad jails for over 7 months. And this ends our news for today. For more information, our website, syriaonline.sy. After the break, you'll have Vani Konjian with our latest on the economic news. God bless you and long live Syria. And reconciliation. Russia asserts that Washington's denial of its involvement in arming the opposition in Syria would not absolve it from responsibility for events there. President Nejad, on the 34th anniversary of the victory of the revolution, no power on earth could impose its will on the Iranian people. Good afternoon, welcome to News Bulletin. I'm Dania Nizam. Patriarch Yohanna X Yazigi was officially installed as Roman Orthodox Patriarch of Antioch on the Orient today. Patriarch Yohanna X Yazigi asserted that our mission is to work hand in hand for the good of everybody. We shall pray to remain united. The road to Damascus is to guide everybody. The Marin Patriarch Cardinal Marbutros Rai said that he came to show solidarity with the suffering of the Syrian people and to say
فيظهر له الرب يسوع ويذكره بكل أقواله وتعاليمه.
Cardinal Rai in the ceremony to install al-Yazigi as Patriarch of Antioch and the Orient. We came to express solidarity with the suffering the Syrian people and to carry the Bible of brotherhood.
في سوريا.
Marbutros Rai said that he came to show solidarity with the suffering of the Syrian people and to say that all our churches in Syria and the world are carrying together the Bible